knowledge and skills to thrive. We want to welcome the Deputy Representative from UNICEF, Ronak Khan, for their goodwill message.
Good morning. I'm not Ronak. Unfortunately, she had other commitments, so she asked me to speak on her behalf. Your Excellency, allow me to stand on existing protocols. On behalf of UNICEF Nigeria, it is my great pleasure to join you at this international conference on girl-child education in Nigeria. The global community is also celebrating the International Day of the Girl Child tomorrow, which was established by the United Nations in 2011 to recognize girls' rights and the unique challenges girls around the world face. The theme for the International Day of the Girl Child tomorrow, Girls' Vision for the Future. This conference comes at an opportune time when the Federal Ministry of Education, under the leadership of the Honorable Minister here, recommitted itself to girls' education's future. The ministry mainstreamed equitable, inclusive, and gender transformative education in its Education for Renewed Hope roadmap for the Nigerian education sector 2024 to 2027, which as UNICEF, we are happy to be supporting. However, the vision of an equitable future for girls remain unrealized as challenges to girls' education persist. While Nigeria has made strides in bringing girls into school, completion at primary is at 73%, which is equitable to the boys. However, the gaps begin to emerge as compared to the boys as the girls progress into junior secondary. Completion is at 67% compared to the boys, which is at 69%. And this widens further at senior secondary, where completion drops to 51% for the girls compared to 57% for the boys. So this situation is even worse if you are a girl child in rural Nigeria and also if you are from a poor family. We know that this is not the girl's vision. Poverty forces families to make difficult decisions to keep girls at home. When communities endure insecurity and schools are attacked, the choice becomes simpler for the parents to keep the child at home. For others, school does not provide adequate support for learning or well-being, leading to dropout. But this does not have to be the fate for the girls. And we are happy that the Nigeria Governors Forum has organized this event for us to reflect on how we can change the trajectory for girls' future. There are a number of good models in Nigeria that work to improve girls' education. As UNICEF, with support from the British government, we implemented the Girls' Education Project Phase 3 between 2012 and 2022. And it showed tremendous results. 1.5 million girls were enrolled across 6 states: Sokoto, Katsina, Bauchi, Niger, Kano, and Zamfara. Gender parity improved at primary from 0.73 to 1 at the end line. There was even a spillover effect in a reduction in child marriage from an average of 55% to 30%. This demonstrates that within Nigeria, we have examples of things that work to promote girls' education. As we deliberate in this conference, we need to look at examples from within as we also draw from outside Nigeria. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, I'm confident that there are many examples of what works. We know what the challenges are. We must therefore use this conference to commit to improving the welfare of girls' education, access, retention, and completion, including learning and skills, and emphasis on skills, including digital skills as well. I would like to assure you of UNICEF's ongoing support in improving access, retention, and completion of girls, and I would like to wish you all fruitful deliberations and look forward to the outcomes of this consultation. I thank you.
Thank you very much. And because we know that time is very precious and we don't have much time on our hands, we're going to be appealing to our friends to limit the goodwill to maybe a minute or 2 minutes if you can. Albert Mendy, Regional Advisor for Education, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, a specialized agency with the aim of promoting world peace and security through international cooperation in education, art, science, and culture, UNESCO. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma. Good morning. Your Excellencies, honorable, distinguished stakeholders, principal government officials, fellow UN colleagues, civil society organization, the prestigious media, and adolescent and young person. It's been about 12 years since the first International Day of the Girl, Child, and here we are commemorating with the global community, Nigerians and the Nigerian Governors Forum, where girls have transformed how we live, learn, and advocate for a just world. This event conveys both the need for urgent action and persistent hope driven by the power of the girl's voice and vision of the future. UNESCO is delighted to be part of this great move and achievement, and this year, more than ever, we seek to empower girls, amplify their voice, and support the agency to shape strategies and policies that ensure a better future for us all. Distinguished participants, we are aware that today's generation of girls are disproportionately affected by global crisis of climate, conflict, poverty, and pushback on hard-won gains for human rights and gender equality. Too many girls are still denied their right, restricting their choice, and limited their futures. Despite progress globally, 122 million girls remain out of school. In Nigeria, girls in general have fewer educational opportunities, face considerable health risk due to early and frequent childbearing, HIV, early and unintended pregnancy, gender-based violence, and other harmful practices, including child marriage and female genital mutilation, cutting. It is important to mention, however, that there are laudable initiatives to build on the country, some of which are the West and Central Africa Ministerial Commitment, with Nigeria endorsed in April 2023. Also, UNESCO flagship initiative, Our Rights, Our Live, Our Future, O3 program, has heightened the awareness of these concerns and offer a multi-sectorial approach at addressing them. The program provides supports at ensuring policies are developed and implemented that impact on the well-being of children, it is also deploys as a user-centered approach and delivering coach-aiding impactful information education to students, teachers, school management, religious leaders, and other stakeholders with an intent to ensuring the agency of the adolescent and the young person. The programs also cater by ensuring safe space within and outside the school, thereby reducing school-related gender-based violence. All these still speakers to UNESCO's mandate within the Sustainable Development Goal 4 of ensuring inclusive and equitable quality education and promoting lifelong learning opportunities for all. The O3 program currently in the second phase and covering 13 states in Nigeria with a plan to scale up to additional 7 states till the end of 2027. We are proud to be associated with the Nigerian Governors Forum because the launching of the Girl Child Education Volunteers Initiative creates a sustainable approach to domestic funding by the government across the 36 states of Nigeria. It also prospect of creating mentorship platform and enabling environment for retention of girls in school. Distinguished honorable guests, colleagues, and friends, UNESCO on this day of the International Day of the Girl Child joins the government and all stakeholders to call for breaking barriers for our girls, especially in STEM fields, amplify their voice, build their agency, and engage the boys as allies. Here is a clearing call. Let's reflect on what more we need to do and not forget that education is a tool for change. In the words of Nelson Mandela, education is the great engine of personal development. It is through education that the daughter of a peasant can become a daughter, that the son of the mine worker can become the head of the mine, that a child of farm workers can become the president of a great nation. It is what we make out of what we have, not what we are given, that separates one person from another. Finally, let me, on behalf of UNESCO, say a very big congratulations to all the girls here in Nigeria and everywhere for the journey that's emerging in them. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, UNESCO. We'll keep working together to break barriers in accessing education by the girl child. Next up for the Goodwill Message is British Council. They promote quality education and support improvements in learning outcomes across primary and secondary schools in Nigeria. Please join me in make welcome the Director of Programs in Nigeria, Mr. Chikodi Onyemerela.
The representative of the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Honorable Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Maman, ON, representatives of state governments here present, the Director General of Governors Forum, development partners, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, let me please stand on the protocol that had been established earlier on. Good morning. I bring you warm greetings from the British Council and sincere thanks to our dear friends at the Governors Forum for inviting the British Council to this very important and quite significant event. For the past 80 years, since the establishment of our first office in the Marina area of Lagos State in the June of 1944, at the time the global trust level was at the lowest ebb, the British Council has worked with successive states and non-state actors in building a more peaceful and prosperous world anchored on trust. Through our programs in education, arts and culture, and supporting the adoption of technology and English language proficiency for teachers and school leaders across the country. In these 80 years, we have provided opportunities for global competitiveness and mobility of young people of Nigeria towards fulfilling their lifelong ambition through capacity building programs, international collaborations, scholarships, networks, and platforms for creative expressions and research that underpins practice. At the British Council, the promotion of girls' education and other marginalized population is at the heart of our programming and will always remain so. A particular reference is our leading learning for gender equality program, which we are delivering across the country at the moment. Our English and digital for girls' education EDGE, and many other gender equality and inclusive programs that target girls and marginalized population. It's our earnest belief that girls' child education is a strategic investment in Nigeria's future. It's essential for economic growth, improved health outcomes, poverty reduction, enhanced political participation, increased social equality, and sustainable development. By investing in the education of girls, Nigeria is investing in its own prosperity, and British Council will continue to support this agenda. Let me indeed thank you for the opportunity to be at this conference, and indeed, we do look forward for the outcomes of it, including the communique and how we can plug in to support the agenda. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much for that. I'd like to call on a team who are experts in transforming educational outcomes at speed and at scale. Dr. Soji Akinyele is a Group Managing Director of New Globe. Once again, I'd like to thank you for believing in girls and in women. Thank you very much, sir.
The representative of His Excellency, the Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, represented by his Deputy Chief of Staff, Senator Ibrahim Hadeja, the Honorable Minister of Education, Professor Maman Tahir, SAN, the Director General of the Nigerian Governors Forum, Dr. Abdulateef Shitu, are also representatives of their excellencies here present, and commissioners of education. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let's establish those protocols. I bring you warm greetings from the entire leadership of New Globe Education. We are very honored to partner with the NGF and participate in this international conference on girl-child education in Nigeria. We all agree that this gathering addresses one of the most pressing issues in our society, the education of the girl child. We have heard alarming statistics that highlight the urgent need to prioritize interventions that ensure no child, especially no girl child, is left behind in gaining access to quality education. At New Globe, we have spent years deploying globally acclaimed solutions that transform the landscape of basic education all over the world. Our methodology and technology-driven platforms, which ensure literacy and numeracy are achieved at the child's level of learning and not just at grade level, has been a game changer. Models like these are described as smart buys in terms of cost-effective investments in education, according to the World Bank. But on a personal note, I have come to understand the vital importance of educating the girl child. It is actually non-negotiable. I am reminded of a very personal story of my late father in the 1930s, who was preferred over his sister to gain access to quality education, and he then went on to achieve the highest levels of education to become a professor of economics. Today, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am a father of 3 girls, and that suggests that educating the girl child for me is existential as I realized that not just their future, but indeed the future of my family rests on their foundational learning experience and the overall education that they receive altogether. It is this deep and personal connection that reinforces my commitment to advocating for girl-child education, first as a father and now as a Nigerian father. This is the relevance of this international conference on girl-child education. That while it is an international platform, the solutions being discussed here are grounded in our local realities. For example, states like Edo, Lagos, Kwara, and Bayelsa are implementing today globally acclaimed learning methodologies that leverage technology and instructional delivery of foundational literacy and numeracy that are yielding transformational learning outcomes and boosting pupil enrollments in their state public schools, with the girl child, of course, benefiting from this. These reforms, championed by their state governors and supported by us, are proofs of concept that with visionary leadership and innovative localized solutions, we can transform education for our children, especially for the girl child, at scale. What we now need is to build on these successes and scale these models, and this is where I must congratulate the NGF and its partners for convening this important event. It is crucial to explore models that can sustain and advance the education of the girl child in Nigeria. New Globe has been working closely with the NGF as their educational technical partners to push the frontiers of quality basic education across various states. We are also collaborating with the Universal Basic Education Commission as a way of laying the foundation for what can be a national reality of delivering quality basic education at scale at the sub-national level. So as we continue to explore together these viable and scalable models of foundational learning and basic education in general, we remain, as New Globe, committed to supporting the NGF and our government partners in the fight to ensure that every girl child in Nigeria has access to quality education. Together, again, through innovative localized solutions and the determination of leadership, we can unlock the potential of every Nigerian girl, and in doing so, unlock the potential of our dear country, Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oando Foundation, we thank you for improving the learning environment in Nigeria's primary schools through the world-class basic education systems that you create for our communities. I'd like to welcome Tonya Uduemo for your 2 minutes. Oando Foundation, thank you.
I'd like to crave your indulgence to make that 2 minutes, perhaps 3 or 4. Excellencies, Honorable Minister for Education, commissioners here present, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to stand on existing protocols. Today we stand very united with the Nigerian Governors Forum, alongside other partners, sponsors, who have ably put their money where their mouth is, and not just money, but also technical expertise to ensure that today's event, as well as tomorrow, is or will be a success. The focus of this conference for us captures the essence of our shared mission, one that ensures that no child especially, is left behind, one that ensures that the Nigerian girl child can stand at par with their mates, not just in Nigeria, but globally also, enjoying privileges and opportunities that are the rights of every child. For us as an organization since inception, we have prioritized the needs of the girl child across all our initiatives. Through our flagship program, the Adopt a School program, we have taken bold steps to ensure that girls who are currently out of school are brought back to school. over 31,867 girls through our Adopt a School program have been brought back to school. 618 indigent girls have been awarded scholarships across the country to transition from their basic primary level education to secondary, and for some of them to tertiary education. For us, it's not just enough to support them to grow and to learn. It's also important to capture their social and emotional well-being, knowing how difficult it can be for the girl child in some parts of the country. The realities that we face today as a nation is one that we find very alarming. 70% of children in Nigeria are unable to read meaningfully or solve basic mathematics, and over 50% of the girls are not attending school at the basic level. For me, I don't think this is just an education crisis. It is a crisis of unrealized potential. Our current strategy as a foundation ensures to leverage, or aims to leverage, innovative solutions and best practices. We always pride ourselves in the way that we state everywhere we go that we may not be the custodians of all knowledge, but it's critical that where we see best practice being put down by either development partners or other private sector organizations, that we as much as possible extend and scale and replicate where necessary, so that the results and the impact will be huge enough for us to see transformation in our nation. As we embark on the strategic conversations of this conference, I want us to remember that the empowerment of the girls, of the girl child, is not just a goal, it is the foundation of a just and a prosperous future. Every goal for Nigeria's development is contingent on the actualization of foundational learning, and the girl child must be at the forefront of this. We must deliberately enhance education financing and make bold investments that are targeted at girl child education. Accountability mechanisms are necessary to help us monitor progress and to ensure that we continually share best practices, because this is the only way that we can move and move at scale. To end this, I'd like to share a quote that I heard for the first time from the former president of Malawi, President Joyce Banda, and she said this and it awoken something in me. She said, and I quote, "We must feel like there's fire under our feet. We must feel like there's fire and act like there's fire under our feet, because we currently do not have more time to waste." Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there's truly fire under our feet with the way that we're going and what the statistics is telling us about the education of the girl child. Everyone in this room represents a critical stakeholder, and the efforts that we put into this very important situation can help us either achieve the success that we seek or continue with the current trajectory. I hope we'll make the right decision. Thank you.
Regardless of our sector, we all are critical stakeholders in education. We are going to be welcoming the last organization that will be giving their goodwill message today. Platform Petroleum is an indigenous oil and gas company that also supports educational development. Please join me in make welcome Engineer Isaac Yeroku, the General Manager Operations, representing the Managing Director.
His Excellency, the Vice President of Nigeria, ably represented, the Honorable Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Mama, the Director General of Nigerian Governors Forum, the representatives of state governors here present, Committee of State Commissioners of Education, Nigeria, development partners, invited guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Platform Petroleum, I am delighted to extend our heartfelt goodwill message for the International Conference on Girl-Child Education in Nigeria. This initiative aligns closely with our commitment to empowering the girl child, a cause that is vital not only for the individual growth, but also for the advancement of our society as a whole. At Platform Petroleum, we believe that education is a fundamental human right and a powerful catalyst for change. Our dedication to this mission is reflected in the following key initiatives. Number one, we have established scholarship programs to provide financial support to deserving students from our host communities, ensuring they have access to quality education without the burden of financial constraints. Our mentorship initiative connects young girls with experienced professionals who guide them in their academic pursuits and career aspirations through our graduate trainee program. We had one recently. Out of 13 young Nigerians, we are able to get in 8 ladies, 8 girls. This support will help us build their confidence and equip them with the skills necessary to excel in their career path. For our skill acquisition programs, we actively collaborate with our host communities to develop skill acquisition programs that focus on essential life skills, leadership development, and then gender equality, fostering an environment where girls can thrive. In line with Goal 5 of the SDG, our diversity and inclusion policy promotes gender equality, ensuring that girls have equal opportunities to learn and succeed along their male counterparts. On a final note, we believe that investing in education of young girls is tantamount to investing in the future of our communities and of our dear nation, Nigeria. Educated girls become empowered women who can drive economic growth, contribute to social development, and inspire future generations. On this note, we will solidly support you within our means and look forward to continued sponsorship and collaboration for the greater good of the girl child. Once again, thank you for your dedication to this noble cause and for allowing Platform Petroleum to be part of this transformative journey. God bless Nigeria. Thank you.
Indeed, indeed. God bless Nigeria. We're done with the goodwill messages from our friends and partners of Nigeria as we host the first international conference on girl-child education in Nigeria, organized by Nigeria Governors Forum, under the leadership of the chairman, Abdulrahman Abdulrazak, the executive governor of Kwara State. We thank you for all the goodwill messages. We thank you for all your pledges. When we come here next year to celebrate the second conference, you'll be able to itemize all the good work and all your pledges, because we will call you out. Because we just don't want you to make promises. We want you to genuinely show interest and collaboration and solidarity for Nigeria. I'd like to acknowledge the Director, Basic Education Department, Federal Ministry of Education, Dr. Mrs. Folake Olatunji David. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you for joining us. See, I am a product of Nigeria, and that's why I stand tall, confident, unapologetic. I went to nursery. I had my nursery education in Nigeria, my primary education in Nigeria, my secondary education in Nigeria, my university education in Nigeria. Before I decided to go to the United Kingdom. Thank you for having me as your citizen. But first and foremost, I am proudly Nigerian. And that is why today's event is very critical for me, because if I am a product of Nigeria, all the students and the young girls of Nigeria deserve better than I got from Nigeria. Once again, I think we should acknowledge Nigeria Governors Forum for what you are doing here today. Thank you. Thank you. And so I'd like to call on the Honorable Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Mamman, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, to let's have your remarks on today. Thank you, sir. So I know the President has offered us the NEL Fund. I'm hoping that you're going to make us a bigger offer to every girl child here today. Thank you, sir.
The Vice President, well represented by the Deputy Chief of Staff, our friends from the international community, who practically all of you here have a small corner in my office because of the frequency of our meetings and contacts and because of the common issues we have. Of course, our host who brought us here. Now, I just have very one or two comments to make. First is to thank and appreciate the NGF for thinking about this program and this project. As you know, the NGF has the ownership and control of second largest, if not largest, number of schools as state governors. Maybe some 5 years ago, I would have said the largest. But now, with a very huge presence of the private sector at that level, I think they would have displaced the states in terms of the number of schools at the basic education and the secondary school level in Nigeria. So when they convene a conference to talk about an issue which is within their domain, then they are really asking us to be partners to work together. It is primarily a big responsibility for the governors to deliver on all those things that we are talking here. And the Federal Ministry of Education, essentially, it's a policy-making arm for the Federation to ensure education is coordinated, the right policies come out, and ensure that the constitutional provision that requires free and compulsory education for every child is actualized in reality. And of course, which will, down the road, mean every child, girl or boy, will be an educated person in it. That's what the Federal Ministry of Education has to ensure. But along the line, things have not worked the way we had hoped it would as a country, but we end up with so many children, especially the girls who are out of school. Now, the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has taken that as a core responsibility for this country to ensure that there's no Nigerian child who fails to go to school for want of resources, for want of his location, and any other reason. And secondly, to ensure that when they go to school, they receive quality education that will now ensure that they will be part of the Nigerian society, part of the economy, and they can have a productive life. Now, we in the ministry have that mandate to ensure that these noble goals of the president and the country are actualized. And this is what we've been working on for the last 10 months with a lot of people here, a lot of you here, the development partners, and other stakeholders. And I can tell you for free now, as I leave this place, we are going to approve a framework that will ensure that we deliver this mandate for this country. The mandate, as the framework as mentioned, is captured as dots. The commissioners are here. They are part of that transformative vanguard. And today we are meeting actually straight from here. We are going to have our meeting, and that's why we even had to be here to ensure that we support the governors in this project. We are working together. So from today, you will be hearing a lot about the framework that will be delivered to ensure free quality education for the young ones at basic education, and education that will allow them also to acquire some skills and traits. This is the new thing about it. So that by the time the child finishes basic education at secondary school, even without going to the university, he would have acquired some skills and traits that he can connect with the society, connect with the economy, and everything there. So NGF, we want to thank you, and we are looking forward, as I discussed with the DG earlier on, to meeting the governors in the next 1 month to inform and sensitize them of what the government, the federal government is rolling out, because for us to work together to deliver on all those mandates. And then our colleagues in the international community, we want to continue to thank you and continue to solicit your continued support for us to deliver on this, because solving Nigeria's addressing issues of out of school is a global phenomenon, not just for Nigeria. And once Nigeria gets it right, from what I have seen from my interface with the international community, everybody is happy, because figures coming from Nigeria are either gratifying or sort of downcasting. We want figures coming from Nigeria to be gratifying. Some of the statistics I have had here, we have our issues with them. We are not going to talk about them here. But we are going to address this problem through the D of the dots, right? So that next time when we cite, even say World Bank, when they cite information, they will be citing data from official data from the Federal Ministry of Education. So thank you, and God bless you all.
So we look forward to seeing the framework, the content of the framework that you have promised us. We will follow your statement, and we will follow the content of the framework. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Mamman, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. I'd like to acknowledge some of our friends who are here. Dr. Osom, Director, Social Mobilization, Universal Basic Education Commissions, representing the Executive Secretary. Can we see you, sir? Dr. Osom, thank you. Thank you very much. So, we need to also acknowledge every Commissioner of Education in Nigeria, because your role is very key to what we're doing here today. If you are a Commissioner of Education in Nigeria, I know the chairperson is here, but if you are a Commissioner for Education in Nigeria, let's see you, please. Stand up. Would like to see you. Thank 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 you. We believe that you will go back and do due diligence to every girl child. Thank you very much, our commissioners. We're very grateful to have you. We also understand that we have our girl child ambassadors here. Can we see you? If you're a girl child ambassador, thank you, thank you, thank you. Please keep repping, keep doing the right things. Thank you very much. Thank you. So I'd like to call on stage someone And I'm very enviable of that position. And just to let you know, sir, that I am capable, I am competent, and I have character to support you in your position. He is a Deputy Chief of Staff to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He's also the Chief of Staff to the Vice President. I am capable, I am competent, I have character, and I can support you in that enviable position. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Senator Ibrahim Hassan Hadije with your keynote address and as you declare the conference open. Tono, I can speak a little bit of Hausa, I can say Dalu, and I can say Akaro. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. If you have a copy of your CV handy, I'll take it along with me. I will see what can happen. The Honorable Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Mamman, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, the representative of the Rivers State Government, who have so graciously contributed immensely to this event, the DG of the Governors Forum, commissioners of education from the various states, our partners and sponsors who are too numerous to mention. You can see their names on the banner behind me. I'm here to represent the Vice President, who is unavoidably absent. Said yesterday he was billed to be here, but as you're all aware, he's standing in for the President as well. So our schedule is very, very erratic indeed. So I would like to read his speech. And just to put Professor Maman on notice, there are even more statistics here, and they are not very good. So I begin, the dignity of the girl child defines every civilization, and today we are bound by a duty higher than merely observing the challenges before us. We bear the responsibility of setting the tone for this nation, and there is no greater calling than to prioritize the education of the girl child and other at-risk children. This is a mirror from which we cannot afford to look away because the consequences are dire and far-reaching. The statistics on our out-of-school children in Nigeria are a stark reminder of the urgency of this mission. The latest multiple indicator cluster survey shows that 25.6% of children of primary school age are out of school, and this rate rises to 29.6% for secondary school age children. Each child abandoned to the streets is a liability that the nation will one day pay for. We must therefore remember that the child who remains out of school today will be a threat to their peer in the classroom tomorrow. And we cannot afford to turn away from this reality, and the need for creative and innovative solutions is now more pressing than ever. The issue of girl child education haunts every nation, but in our part of the world, our vulnerability is especially pronounced. Our education is more than a moral obligation. It is the stabilizing force of our economic and social order. For every additional year a girl remains in school, her future earning potential increases, infant mortality rates decrease, and poverty levels in communities fail. We see this reflected in the Gender Parity Index, which shows that girls have almost caught up with boys at the primary school level with a ratio of 0.99, and even surpassed boys at secondary school level with a ratio of 1.08. These gains are, however, at risk unless we intensify our interventions to reach every girl, particularly in areas where barriers remain strongest. This is why, at the National Economic Council, we have set out to guarantee the future of the girl child, adopting education as one of our critical thematic areas of intervention alongside health, nutrition, and employability in a rapidly changing world. We have set the ambitious goal of achieving a 0.6 score on the World Bank's Human Capital Index, and we understand that the road to this objective involves increasing years of schooling, improving the quality of education, and ensuring that no child, especially no girl child, is left vulnerable or out of school. Our data further emphasizes the urgency of addressing these issues, particularly in northern Nigeria. States in the northwest and northeast face the highest out-of-school rates. In Kebbi, Zamfara, and Bauchi, for example, more than 60% of primary school-age children are not in school, with Kebbi at a staggering 64.8%. The secondary school numbers are similarly alarming, with Bauchi at 66.75%, Kebbi at 63.8%, and Jigawa, which is my own state, at 62.6%. We cannot allow ourselves to be held hostage by these frightening numbers. Now is the time to treat them as an emergency, and the only way forward is through state-specific action plans that address the unique needs and barriers in each region. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, education financing remains a critical aspect of our strategy in the last 3 years. We have seen a significant increase in education expenditure. For example, in 2022, states spent 1 trillion naira on education, representing 12% of total expenditures. By 2024, states committed 2.4 trillion to education, while the federal government allocated 2.2 trillion. This brings the combined total allocation to 4.6 trillion naira. Although states have 14% of their budgets dedicated to education, we must aim higher. Our campaign to see 15 to 20% of state budgets allocated to education is not just a target, but a necessity, as it is the surest way to guarantee the future of our children and our nation. The stakes are too high for us to hesitate. The risk posed by each out-of-school child should concern us all, and what we need is a concerted, multi-sectoral approach. The federal government, states, local governments, civil society, and our partners in the donor community must come together with a singular focus, which is ensuring that every Nigerian child, regardless of gender or geography, receives quality education. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, while the threats before us are real, so too are the opportunities to create significant change. This gathering points us towards the way forward. We must combine our advocacy and awareness campaigns as championed by the Human Capital Development Program with practical interventions like increasing budgetary allocations to the education sector. Each stakeholder in this ecosystem must collaborate and adopt review mechanisms to ensure that our efforts translate into real progress. Whatever reforms we adopt to build a safe space for educating the girl child must be championed from within our communities. Policy making involves all of us, and we must engage local leaders, traditional rulers, and religious figures to understand the implications of failing to educate the future of this nation. The most powerful tool we can offer the girl child is education. We must enhance educational programs that inform girls and women about their rights and the risks they face if denied the opportunity to make informed choices, especially in matters of health. We must also work closely with our partners in the donor community, including the World Bank, the African Development Bank, and other multilateral institutions to make a generational difference. While we remain grateful for their interventions, we are still looking forward for deepening these partnerships. On this note, I declare the International Conference on Girl Child Education in Nigeria officially open. Thank you, and may God bless us all.
I've already started my assignment as his assistant. Thank you very much, His Excellency, the Deputy Chief of Staff to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and Chief of Staff to the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Ibrahim Hassan Hadija. Thank you very much for declaring the conference open. We would like to go on a break and quickly take some photographs. At this point in time, we'd like to have all our distinguished friends and partners on the front first row to please come on and let's come up the stage and to take a photograph, group photograph with His Excellency.